I have 4 kids. That's a lot of kids. Don't get me wrong, I love them, but you really don't need that many children. It's ostentatious, quite frankly. You got 4 kids, you're approaching Von Trapp family singers territory. You got 4 kids, they should be wearing lederhosen and singing Edelweiss and fleeing the Nazis. Here's the problem with having that many kids. You're outnumbered. Oh, and sooner or later, they figure it out. I remember one time going up to one of my kids, I said, the first time, I said, get in there and clean up your room. You know what he says? He says, there's 4 of us, there's 2 of you. Why don't you get in there and clean up my room? As long as we're talking, let's talk about my allowance, shall we? That's a nice Ford minivan you and Mommy are driving. It'd be a shame if something would have happened to it, you know what I'm saying? And these kids, they don't know the choices they have, the technology this generation. It's unbelievable. My kids are always hocking me for gotta get me an iPad, iPod, poking the eye. They want all the eye stuff. You know what I tell them? I said, we didn't have iPads when I was a kid. You know what we played with when I was a kid? A slinky. That's what we played with. Circular metal wire. We played with coil. It was half a step up from playing with industrial waste. Remember the slinky? You'd play with it one day and it'd get bent and tangled. The rest of your childhood, you'd play with bent, tangled metal coil. That's what we had. I was lucky to have it too. I remember hocking my dad, you gotta give me a slinky. All the other kids got slinkies. I gotta have it. You know what my father told me? He said, we didn't have slinkies when I was a kid. Do you know what we played with when I was a kid? A box of dirt. That's what we played with. Box of dirt. I was lucky to have it too. My father, your grandfather, you know what he played with? Just dirt, no box. It's the family dirt. They smuggled it in from the old country. And he was lucky. His grandfather, your great-grand, you know what he played with? Nothing. They couldn't even afford dirt. They were dirt poor. And you know what they're doing on the iPads? They're just watching TV. That's all it is. They're just watching TV. They got Netflix and Hulu and they got 5,011 channels. You know how many channels we had when I was a kid? We had 2. We had NBC and ABC. We were so poor, we couldn't even afford CBS. I was lucky to have it too. You know what my father had when he was a kid? You know what they watched? A box of dirt. That's what. Sat and looked at a box of dirt for 3 hours every night. Then we went to bed. And they don't read. Kids don't read books anymore. Did you know this? They don't read books. They don't have to. You know why? They want to find something out. Bing, Google. Bing, Wikipedia. That's it. When I was a kid, you wanted to read. You wanted to find something out. You read it in a book. We had books. Lucky to have them too. You know what my father had when he was a kid? No, he had books too, but he kept them in a box of dirt. We don't know why. He had dirty books. We don't know. I didn't ask a lot of questions back then. It's unbelievable. Here's my advice for any young couple starting out. You want to have a family? Adopt. Adopt like an older child. See, that way you can bypass the whole baby, toddler, teenage thing. Adopt like a middle-aged guy. Like some guy in his 40s. Like an accountant who could help you with your taxes. This is our new son, Mr. Goldstein. He's a big fella. Boy, weighs over 200 pounds. Yes, he does. We're very proud. Very proud of him. No, that's all right. I'm Jewish, and my wife is Irish Catholic. I married a beautiful Irish girl, so, we had to raise the kids Catholic. That's just the way it works. I just show up. I don't know. Signed a letter to the Pope, sent it off. I don't know. That's fine. It's okay. It's fine. It works out fine. It's fine. Except I think my kids might be a little anti-Semitic. Just a little. No, just a little. You hear comments. I don't like to make a big deal. I remember one time my son, he was 4 years old. He asked me if I'd buy him his own real car, you know? I thought that was so cute. I said, no, Daddy can't do that. That would cost too much money. You know what he said? He said, you people. That's all you ever think. My kids built a clubhouse in the backyard. I asked if I could join. My 8-year-old pulls me aside. He says, look, if it were up to me,